into Nova Na'Vi.
Both teams are currently ready for Trovo, Nova, and Na'Vi, so we're just going to already start talking about the bans. Trovo, Nova, their 2 bans are going to be Xayah and Lee Sin. As for the side of Natus Vincere, they're going to ban away the Akali and also the Gragas. And we were talking with Roning, he's doing...
boy who runs at you shouting, does take increased damage, though, for doing so. So, pretty easy to melt him down if he tries to misstep, but can activate that Ragnarok and try and move on forwards through that. Pair that up with a cannon, and you've got a lot of CC. If you go into this fight unprepared, the Braum stuns can come through from the Glacial Fissure, and that cannon slicing Maelstrom will just stun you up. Pop a Misfortune down on top of that. That bullet time is going to let you know just what time it is, and your screen's going to go grey real quick.
Especially the zoning capabilities of this one, and the fact that Braum is not up against them, because Braum with the Unbreakable themselves, and the bouncy comp, as you just called it here, John, is going to be really hard to deal with, especially if Trovo Nova kick off this game with a really significant lead. That's going to make it really hard for Na'Vi to find any decent peeling into this fight. But let's not forget they do have a strong mid laner, which is going to be the Aurelion Sol, you mentioned earlier, has got banned so far twice in the last series of Tri versus Team Kesso. So whichever kind of position you are, you could be in a good spot. Okay, Na'Vi trying to go for a little bit of a catch out in that bush play, but unfortunately nothing comes out of it. But yeah, Aurelion Sol in the mid lane, of course, that roaming potential with that Celestial Expansion is going to be rather troublesome for Trovo Nova if they're not able to find a response. So because of that, you want to make sure you can get control of those scuttles early on to keep track of where Skye is on the map.
The question is, Max, who wins in a fight? A god of creation who eats galaxies, or a guy with a sword? That's all I'm saying, right? That's a pretty difficult matchup to call.
Hey, anime boys are strong if you let them be. Okay, just wait for Yasuo to have like a flashback of his childhood, and he's gonna just pop you down instantly. Though Skye gonna go for a little bit of a trade. Of course, the stars coming on through, and a overall pretty nice trade off between these two players. As in the top side, especially Ken and Malphite. So this is going to be a very interesting one for me, at least. Especially because...
Oh, the bot lane. Oh my goodness me. Flash burn in. They are going to try and follow it up. A lot of damage pumped down. And that's actually first blood found in a 2 versus 2 for Trovo. They used that level advantage after clearing the wave beautifully. They had the level up and they absolutely nail the engage, Max. Beautiful stuff.
This is a time where you spam T-Tors in the chat because Maxman was not looking at the bottom lane when that happened. We need a T-Tors on Trovo, guys. We need to add that one. Like, they can make fun of spectators, apparently. But now Juicy and Mumu in a pretty bad spot, though. There was a lot of poking coming on through, so Grizz and also Hydro not in the best of spots, but they should be good. And they're going to make it back to base. So far, we are at 1 minute and 30 seconds in. The goal lead is just about a little bit less than 1,000, actually. Going to be good in favor of none other than Trovo Nova themselves. So they're looking in a pretty good spot. But I'm especially looking out for Ghost. When is he going to start getting involved? Because let's not forget, very similarly to Darius that we saw in that last matchup of Kesso versus Tribe, he is all about early scaling. If he can get himself a nice lead, a few kills left and right, or get a gold advantage, off of that, he is going to put himself in a really good spot, and especially thanks to that Ragnarok, being able to cleanse all the amount of CC dashed out by the composition of Trovo Nova, he is going to be a big key component for the win condition of Trovo Nova in my eyes.
A lot of damage being returned on towards Vejos in the mid lane for Trovo Nova. Skye chasing it down, and that's one of the main strengths of Aurelion Sol is to capitalize. Hang on a minute, go over to the top lane. There's a little bit of a gank coming through for Ghost as he picks up the axe. The undertow not quite able to connect a second time. The stun comes through, but under turret, Clemmer is safe, and that is a lot of damage back onto Garen.
Vex is looking here was Grizz, could be looking for an engage. Grand entrance into a Cataclysm could be really, really strong. Although top side, another engage coming off through from Clemmer. He gets it!
Oh, they managed to trade it back in the bot lane, though. Let's flip back over as Cataclysm comes through, and a lovely slice and dice coming through. I know we don't have Renekton in the game right now, Max, but goodness me, that was very clean. And across the map, some pretty strong plays. I would say, in general, in the advantage. Mid lane, though, it's all popping off. It's continuing to go through. It's beautiful ult there from Skye to keep him safe. Will the Ignite be enough? No, it won't. And Vejos has to try and chase this one down. The minion wave is there. And Aurelion Sol knows he has to turn tail and flee there. The sword beats out the Galaxy Eater.
Yeah, Vejos was trying to be actually really strong with this position. He was actually trying to deny him from getting access to that honey fruit. If not, I think that we would have seen potentially Skye try and remain in that position and take that fight, but at the end, not able to happen. Though, Malphite here, looking out for his itemization, he is going to go for the AP build-up, which here you do not have the most tanky of compositions for Na'Vi. Of course, Mumu is going to be the main target to go for. and QSS will not be enough. So he's going to have to go potentially for Zoniel, an easy way out, because getting engaged by that unstoppable force with a champion such as Misfortune with no mobility by default, he's going to be instantly targeted by that Malphite. So Mumu's got to be very careful when those 5-on-5 team fights start to happen.
The issue is late game, you're going to lose a lot of tankiness. The Mumu is going to melt you if you don't get the unstoppable force and get the knock-up on towards the Misfortune. She's just going to melt you down as that Malphite. Not to mention you've got Ghost, who's going to absolutely shred through you. Sky doing so much damage, and Garen can just stop you. Even if you go in with that unstoppable force, you can just get taken down by the Slicing Maelstrom. Garen can slow you down. If you don't get a kill immediately, you're going to get traded out. So it's a very, very risky build coming in for the Malphite, but you can transition into some slightly more tanky items later on. We'll have to wait and see.
Hopefully, but the thing is, we've seen a lot of very stubborn Malphites in the last few weeks, I would say. They tend to go, if you go AP, I go full AP, and that's it. You're not going to be doing anything. Even though I do like the fact of having potentially some Malphites go for an adaptive helm, second or third item. I think it does help quite a bit, and I've been seeing quite a bit of amount of success, though. Flash on forward.
There goes the lightning rush there, and the Slicing Maelstrom not quite able to save the life. A beautiful engage there coming through from Grizz on the Rakan to get that knock-up, get that CC. Really very well capitalized. Na'Vi trying to re-engage there, but the Galaxy pops just too early. Vex tries to move forwards as well and has to fold back into the rest of Trovo Nova. Sky zoning them away quite nicely. One of Aurelion Sol's main strengths here will be able to just do such consistent damage with those comets. And Ghost now starts up the Drake.
There you go, is going to be initiated on it very early on. Though into the mid lane, that's going to be Host trying to look for 1v1 versus Sky. The Tornado could be able to hit as he procs in time. Oh, Sky misses the ulti very unfortunately. And the zoning capabilities on Na'Vi are rather strong, though. Malphite engage. Force.
There goes the ultimate as well. The last Whisper will take them down, but they trade it 1-for-1 right now. Bullet time over the top of things, and that's a lot of blue health bars just melting away. They managed to flee for the hills. Back into the brushes they go. The stun available now for Grizz will go down, but Mumu takes a lot of damage coming through from this Corki. Barrier there, able to get for one, but not quite able to get any more. Valkyrie forwards. Aggressive play coming through from Hydro. Looks to try and push on towards Juicy, but not quite able to finish with the final blow there. Two players run away, tail between their legs, but the dragon is stopped, and it's the advantage coming through from Trovo Nova.
I'm very surprised. Juicy had the lock-it enchant in those finishing moments. If he was able to pop it on to Mumu, I think they could have maybe actually won that fight and picked up a triple kill on the Misfortune. So I do not know if it was just a little bit of lack of timing on that cooldown, but it seemed like that was the case. One thing I would love to have in the game eventually is a cooldown on activatable items such as lock-it enchant, because as of right now, unfortunately, we cannot see those. It would be great to have in future updates of the game. But now Drake's going to be initiated upon, but Trovo Nova are not yet as a full team.
Not quite. And the cooldowns as well were expended. We'll see who comes back up, and immediately, that's the Aurelion Sol going down. The Slicing Maelstrom just flashes on forwards. A lot of stuns, a lot of damage. Ghost slays the charge. And that reckless swing will take down the Yasuo. Traded 1-for-1 now as the Valkyrie forwards. That's the package. That's a lot of damage. A brilliant zone, but there's no follow-up. There's just nothing left in the tank. Kema doesn't have that unstoppable force. Might have been a different story if it was, but that was over-aggressive there.
A little bit too much, and by that I mean just way too over-aggressive, and now the Drake's going to be initiated upon once again, but Vex is ready to jump on over with that explosive seed. Moon gets low enough though. That's going to be the Celestial Expansion coming on through, trying to zone away. Vex going to try and avoid it as much as possible, and the initiation comes on through.
Bullet time though in response, and it's perfectly placed. Mumu takes two down, two names under the belt. Absolutely beautiful. Na'Vi stay alive. They get the dragon under the belt, and it's a brilliant turn up for them.
There you go. At the end, things are going to be looking really nice for Na'Vi. The Infernal Drake going their way, and they are ahead of gold of just about 500. So really not much, but that Infernal Drake, the later game you get, is going to be amazing. And especially for the likes of this Olaf. We mentioned it many times here coming into the draft. Olaf, he needs and requires that early game power spike. And he's able to get himself so far in a really good KD. 3-1-1. He's got also that very first item, the Triforce. So he is going to, well, Trinity Force, but I call it Triforce because Zelda's a good game. And at the end, he is going to be doing so much work. He's the main threat for Trovo Nova. The Malphite engage onto the Unstoppable Force could be the undoing of Ghost if he's not fast enough to react with his own Ragnarok. But if he is going to be fast enough on that reaction time, then he's going to be looking to be in a really, really good spot. The rotation happens, but Herald is currently open, and because the jungle control and the vision control towards that Northern River is taken over by Na'Vi, that's going to be a free Herald for them to take.
Just going to be able to pick it up. There's really no way they can contest this. They're trying to trade it off with pressure on the turret on the bot side. You can see four of them stacking up there, but they really don't even have that. The wave's just nowhere near, and very well operated there by Na'Vi.
There you go. Navi off to a really good start. I just realized on the overlay, I put John's Twitter, but mine is at Twitter handle. So there you go. My new Twitter is at Twitter handle, guys, if you want to follow me over there. Pretty cool content. Check it out, please. But Garen down the top side of the lane, a little bit counterintuitive. He's playing the cannon onto this one. But overall, he's going to be trying his best to defend that tower into the top side. So far, Trovo Nova also, I got to say, they have been looking really good in those fighting, in those fight positions. Their wombo combo worked out really good with the final breath of the Yasuo with the Malphite full-on engage on the ulti. But unfortunately for them, the moment that they do all of that, there's nothing left in their composition. They just fall apart really quickly, and especially that bullet time of Mumu last fight was just the undoing of Trovo Nova. So here they've got to be very careful that if they do go for the engage, they must try and end that fight ASAP, because the longer it lasts, the more potential Na'Vi has to maybe make that fight go in their favor.
I'm going to have to study a little bit of knot theory here, Max, because there were several points at which the undoing happened, really, I think, in the fight around the Dragon Pit. Especially when, Hydro just packaged forwards.
Okay, we don't talk about that.
I think that there were several missteps there from Trovo Nova, but the thing that we do know about this team is that they have the chops on them to definitely bring this one back, and they're going to be able to get a grand entrance like that. They're continuing knock up again and again. They might just be in with a little bit of luck, but Juicy stays alive throughout the whole thing. Unstoppable Ragnarok comes through, and they actually trade it, go into the advantage. Garen comes in from the sidelines, gets that slicing maelstrom, but they turn it around. In comes the Malphite. They're finally able to do the dirty over towards Na'Vi. There's the Galaxy expansion coming through, but are you going to be able to find the kill onto Rakan? I don't even know about that. Juicy, oh my goodness me, just misses the damage from ability 1 there on the Braum. Stuns coming through, and actually Sky able to get away with his life. Not quite for too much longer, though. There comes the slice, and it will be, again, the sword to beat out the Galaxy Eater.
Impressive one for Grizz, though. He was feeling like he was a Matrix for a second, able to dodge himself that A ability coming out from Juicy. Overall, really good stuff, but a little bit of an overstep from Sky, feeling a little bit too confident with those stars, and he did lose his life along the way. Though this is a really good fight coming out from Trovo Nova. The grand entrance initially was big, and the simple fact that Braum was just not able to fight right at the start of that engage made it so hard for them to follow up on it, and then especially thanks to the late teleport of Malphite, the unstoppable force on 2 really low teammates of Na'Vi made it really hard for them to continue that fight head on and continue on. Though now going to be seeing Olaf continuing to rotate towards mid lane position, and not much is going to be happening there potentially.
Misses the knock up there from Vejos, but doesn't really want to engage on that. Certainly not in that current situation with the priority going over towards the objectives. They have got that Cloud Break available, but over towards the bot side, there's a little bit of a skirmish, a very early pickup over onto Mumu, which means that there's no bullet time into the rest of the fight. Juicy goes very low, and now they're trying to echo with a kill, but there's just so many players for Trovo Nova around. The unstoppable force knocks Gromp up into the air, but doesn't really find too many of Na'Vi. Will it be enough, though? They actually managed to get a kill and get away with it, so they trade 2 for 1, equalize just a little bit, but the Cloud Drake on the cards as well for Trovo Nova.
10,000 gold already, making his way towards 10.5k. They're going to try and go for the turret dive, and that's going to be Kennen losing his life. But at the end here, this Yasuo is so far ahead currently. He's got himself already to static. He's got himself also the Infinity Blade. So he is looking to be in a really strong spot. And especially Ghost here, he was supposed to be that champion that was just so far ahead of his game and able to just dodge with that CC thanks to the Ragnarok and be in a really good spot, but the damage is just too strong for Trovo Nova, and Na'Vi just can't deal with it. Ghost got obliterated. We also saw Mumu initially after that grand entrance. He literally got one shot. He just completely obliterated. So Mumu, we said it, he's going to be the champion to focus for Trovo Nova, and the moment they take him down, it's a 5v4 instantly, and the fight just barely begun.
If Mumu is the first pick in a fight, that's basically over, as you say, Max. We'll have to see. There's the grand entrance. There comes the charm as he runs around. 3 players caught up in the CC. Not too much damage sent back. The Herald actually got activated in mid lane and very low. Might not even be able to impact onto the tower. A very nice response there from Trovo Nova to stop that pressure in the mid lane. Ghost takes a lot of damage from that rocket there coming out from the Corki, and they disengage.
There's 2 games in a row where we got the Herald being used max cooldown when the Baron's just about to spawn, so a little bit unfortunate for both of these teams, well, especially for Na'Vi, not both of them. Trovo Nova's going to be happy. That's some extra gold for them. Cloud Drake now going to be picked up. Extra move speed, that's going to be making Trovo Nova even more unbearable to deal with. As those Sky and Ghost a little bit off position, pretty deep in the jungle, but the slow from that axe will be good enough to peel away, and Trovo Nova will not be able to find the engage. It's 30 minutes in currently, and you can see that Trovo Nova, how much pressure they're playing in the mid lane position, and because their own mid lane turret is still up, they always got a home base to really fight from and to retreat to. So here, Na'Vi, if they want to try and get a little bit more presence in the map, I would say picking up that mid pressure and pushing it down a little bit stronger would be good. But unfortunately for them, they just don't have the best composition when it comes down to clearing out this wave and pushing heavily in mid lane. It does take a lot of effort for them to make that happen.
But what they have been doing is trading that off of pressure in the side lanes. I mean, we saw almost a full wave crash in the bot side and really didn't get picked up by too many. The top turret has gone down, and this is what's keeping Na'Vi alive, right? They're getting these towers, and you can see Aurelia and Sol going to use that wave to push out that bottom tower. So very, very nice pickups there from Na'Vi on the back foot to keep themselves even in the gold game.
This is just now Na'Vi without too much vision in the enemy jungle. Though I gotta say, their jungle control in the river is really strong. They got 3 wards, 2 in the bottom side and 1 on top. Is going to be good. Straight up engage onto the Olaf.
Slicing Maelstrom, though, will get them dealt with. Nicely collapsed there from Na'Vi. The Valkyrie has to be used, and maybe a little bit over-aggressive there. Yasuo overstepping the mark. Goes down, a kill found.
And he's 5-2 before that one too, so that's going to be some extra gold to whoever picked up the kill. I believe it was Mumu, but I'm not 100% sure about that one, so we'll have to check it out. But anyways, that's still some extra gold. And I got to say, seeing how ahead Trovo and Nova were before that little misplay, I would say, coming out from the Yasuo, overall, Na'Vi have been able to remain rather relevant in terms of gold and now actually been in the lead with gold. So I got to say, Na'Vi, their gold mechanics and playstyle have been rather strong. But here we go, the engage is just about to happen next to the Baron Pit.
Oh, there's so much damage from the Corki. In comes the Rakan as well to just charm everyone up. Pulled forwards, the res coming through from the Olaf, and Baron chiming into the middle of the fight as well. In comes the flag, the Cataclysm, the Unstoppable Force. Where's the Yasuo for the rest of the damage? Not quite able to trade him down, and they're going quite low. They might try and turn this around for Na'Vi, but Garen goes low. There's the knockup from the Yasuo. There's the damage, but gets traded off 1 for 1. Will they be able to pick up Skye? Not quite, and it's even, Max. Both sides looked like they had an open door in the middle of that fight, but neither were able to slam it shut.
Because Na'Vi also have been able to stay so good in terms of their gold, now the power spikes are starting to be hit. Skye also just got himself that stasis, so he's going to be able to go golden in those fights if he gets heavily engaged, especially onto that Mal fight, so he should be good to go. But especially Mumu's got himself so many good items under his belt. He's got himself Blade of the Ring King and also Infinity Blade, and he's making his way towards his 4th item, hopefully very soon. And that is the time where you're looking at Miss Fortune, and she starts popping the hell off. Of course, those bullet times have been the undoing of Trovo Nova. But yeah, a little bit of misplay from both teams, especially one thing I gotta say, Ghost initiated that fight way too early without the backup of his team, and he's just literally a piece of paper up against a pair of scissors. He just gets absolutely cut down to pieces. So Ghost, he's got to be careful, because if you want to use that Ragnarok, you got to do it the moment your team is ready to engage, because with that ultimate, without that ultimate, you're just so easy to take down for Trovo Nova.
You got to fold that paper into Nippon steel, Max. That's the true trick there, to try and beat out those rocks. But even then, I don't think metal cuts through rock too well either. You need a water jet. You know, that's generally what you use for cutting rock. I'm going down a rabbit hole here, and you should have stopped me earlier. But let's be honest, it's looking pretty even at this stage. Na'Vi now eking out a little bit of a gold lead. I have to say, I think that one of Na'Vi's main strengths in this game so far, wave management. They've been pushing those side lanes in very, very consistently and not really taking too much punishment for it.
Didn't even push too deep because of it, because the control's just been so strong though. Yasuo going to take a 1v1 versus Skye, but he's going to be engaged upon now 1v2, but he's going to be respectful this time around. No overstep this time. Now the engage going to happen in the top side jungle potentially soon, but Malphite was not there, so they're not going to commit just yet, as we know that Clemmer, he's the one to create the opportunities for his team. But Na'Vi got to be careful, especially against a Malphite. You want to be rather spread away from each other to make sure Clemmer can't have a full impact and hit a 3 or 4 or even 5-man ultimate on the Unstoppable Force. So Na'Vi's got to try and be as split away from each other as possible to make sure that the impact of Clemmer is reduced to a bare minimum. So they're waiting for it, though. That's going to be Skye going straight back to base. And if they get the information, that could be big. But unfortunately, no deep vision from Trovo Nova. So they have no idea that Skye is not there.
Clemmer looking to move forwards. Olaf taken very, very low. Unstoppable Ragnarok flashes away, but the Ignite's too much. In they go in towards the backlines, and Grizz goes very low. Flashing with the Slicing Maelstrom towards the backline, finds 2 for Garen, and now they're on the chase. Looking to try and find Vex. There's the ultimate coming through from Skye to find that final blow, and Na'Vi turn the tides of battle. Moving forwards now towards the Yasuo. Knock up over towards Garen to try and shut him down. Goes low, but will not fall. And now it's just Clemmer standing for Trovo Nova as Mumu pushes down that mid lane. They were waiting for their opportunity, and Na'Vi with the waves make it happen. Beautifully found.
Sky, going rather deep on this one. Would not recommend. Oh, one more tower shot. Now he's potentially going to be a very dead dragon. But at the end here, now they crack open the base and they're looking to close off this first game of this BO3 series versus Trovo Nova. Surprise to be sure, but a welcome one. And that is indeed going to be game going the way of Na'Vi. What an upset coming into this.
Beautiful stuff. I talked about their wave management across the game, and it's what won them in what there. They kept that pressure up across the map, and even when they felt like they were on the back foot, they just stuck to their guns. And it was very, very well played there from Na'Vi. I'm very impressed by that.